username and your password. What are you talking about, buddy?
Yeah, I put my username and password, but it says switch accounts, and it will always do that unless you just give me a formatted link.
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but we'll talk about it on the next formative assessment, okay?
Okay.
Now we're going to start close reading.
That's what my brother said.
Cool.
I know what he's talking about. He's talking about the link that like let me show you.
Creflo, why don't we wait until Monday? I think we're gonna do a little info
Here.
session on Monday.
You can
So-
give this to him.
Okay,
To
wait,
Raymond.
Creflo,
Yeah.
listen real quick. We're gonna do an info session on Monday. We're gonna start close reading now. And then on Monday you can help out if you know how, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you now. Oh, you already muted yourself. Thank you. Okay, scholars. So it's now time for close reading. The last lesson of the day and also the last lesson of the week. So after this, you have a nice 3-day weekend. And I am going to share my screen real quick so we can go over the expectations for close reading. So I just want to make sure everyone remembers backs up straight, hands folded in front of you, eyes are on the screen, ears are listening, and you're ready to participate. So I'm going to scroll through real quick and just see who is following the expectations. Jakari is someone everyone should be looking at. He has his back up straight, he has his eyes on the screen, and he is paying attention. Ariana has her eyes on the screen. Ticket Ariana, ticket Jakari. Let's see. Amy has her eyes on the screen. Ticket Amy. Edgard has his eyes on the screen. Ticket Edgard. Everyone's doing a really great job.
Miss Rizzo, are you filming this lesson?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Are you filming this lesson?
I am, yes.
Okay.
Daniele. Oh, okay. Sorry, Daniele. I thought you were frozen, but you're not. Okay, let's see. Everyone else is doing a great job. Ethan T, Sarah, your camera needs to be on unless there's a reason. You can chat a teacher. Thank you, Sarah, for putting your camera on. Just a reminder to Ethan T, put your camera on also. Next time it will be a check. Okay, great. So we are ready to start the day, ready to start close reading. So I know that yesterday we started day 1 of Tornadoes Watch Out, and we really went over the main idea. So today we're going to read it again, and we're going to look through, and we're going to be trying to pull out some different things. So we're going to be talking about the types of things the author does in the text. So our transferable takeaway for today is that nonfiction authors can use various methods to convey their point of view. One of the ways is through descriptive language, anecdotes, and quotes from an expert to clearly convey their point of view. So as we read today, I want you to all be thinking about the language, the descriptive language that the author is using, the anecdotes that they're using, and quotes from experts to really put their point of view across. So remember, what was one point of view of the author from Tornadoes Watch Out? Who remembers what one point of view of the author was? Creflo, go ahead. What was it?
It was when the author wanted to tell us about the tornadoes and how when the person I think it was William, I think, yeah, was the guy that was trying to test like chase down the tornadoes and see if another way to help the people that were like getting hurt because they didn't know like when the tornado was going to come.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. Ticket Creflo. Safwan, why don't you help us out too? I know that you are a tornado expert. What was the author trying to tell us about tornadoes?
The author was trying to tell us about the dangers of tornadoes and how to avoid it.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. Ticket Safwan. So yeah, so the author really wanted to convey that we should know how to protect ourselves if a tornado comes because they can be deadly, they can be dangerous. So I am going to share my screen so we can start reading through once more. Okay, so I'm going to read the first paragraph, and I just want you to be thinking about the transferable takeaway and the descriptive language that the author uses. Dark clouds loom overhead. Sheets of pounding rain pour down from them. Lightning sparks across the sky, and the roar of thunder is heard for miles. Hail pellets bounce off of cars and sidewalks. A severe thunderstorm like this is common in many parts of the country. Heavy rain, hail, and lightning from a thunderstorm can cause serious damage, but a thunderstorm can also lead to something much more menacing, a tornado. So what was the purpose of the descriptive language in this text? Who can tell us what types of descriptive language they heard? Let's see. Ariana, what type of descriptive language did you hear?
The type of description I heard was about how tornadoes were made, and they were made by this cloud called.
Wait, I'm going to stop you right there. We're talking about the first paragraph only. So the first paragraph that I just read, what's some descriptive language in this first paragraph?
Oh, that tornadoes can be caused by thunderstorms that are very dangerous.
Let me stop you right there. Who can tell me what descriptive language is? Let's see. Sarah, what's descriptive language? Oh, you're still muted, Sarah. Okay, Sarah, I'm gonna skip because I think you might have some computer issues. Edgar, what is descriptive language?
Descriptive language is when descriptive language is like kind of like language that that like kind of catches the reader's like attention. Like say if I was writing a text about something and I added like some kind of sound word like boom or something like that, it would probably catch their attention.
Okay, so great. Take it, Edgar. So it's language that describes something. So it's descriptive. So having that in mind, Ariana, what do you think is some of the descriptive language that the author used right here? Think of the language he uses to describe something.
He's describing that the thunderstorms are very dangerous because it causes serious damage and hail and lightning.
Okay, so that is definitely, he's talking about thunderstorms, but I'm looking for a very specific descriptive word. So the word that I'm looking at is menacing. So the author says a thunderstorm can also lead to something much more menacing, a tornado. So he uses the term menacing. What do we think menacing means in this particular text? Raymond, what do you think it means? If we're talking about tornadoes, think about what we already know about tornadoes. What might menacing mean?
I think menacing means like dangerous or something.
Great, yes, awesome. Take it for Raymond. Go ahead, continue.
Because tornadoes, right here it says heavy rain, hail, and lightning from a thunderstorm and can cause serious damage, but the thunderstorm can also lead to something much more menacing, a tornado.
Awesome. So yes. So he uses the term menacing, and that really kind of is the biggest descriptive word he uses. Ariana was right. So I'm going to give a ticket to Ariana just because all of the words that she was saying were also descriptive. But the big word that I'm looking for is menacing, because it means, in this text, it means dangerous. And the author is using this descriptive language to tell us a little bit more about tornadoes. So before I read the second paragraph, I want you to start thinking about what an anecdote is. Who here knows what an anecdote is? I know that's kind of a bigger literary term. Safwan, go ahead. What is an anecdote? Or explain what it means.
An antidote?
Anecdote, yes.
I I don't know.
It's okay that you don't know. It's okay. It's a bigger, tricky word. Does anyone here know what that means? Raise your hand if you do. Scrolling through the gallery. Manuela, yes, go ahead. What is an anecdote?
An antidote is a type of medicine that can be poisonous.
Okay, so that's antidote, and I know that that can be kind of tricky a little bit. So I'm going to tell you what an anecdote is. So it's a brief, revealing account of an individual person or an incident. So it kind of is something that tells a little bit of a story about what specifically happened to a person. So as I'm reading through, I want you to think about what in the text that I'm reading could possibly be an anecdote. Before I read the next part of the text, I am just going to scroll through the gallery just to make sure everyone is paying attention. So I see Creflo, his eyes are on the screen, he's paying attention. Ticket for Creflo. Ticket for Markel, you're paying attention. And just looking at the back page, Daniele, Ethan T, your cameras need to be on. Daniele, this is a warning. Thank you, Daniele, for turning your computer on. Ethan T, this is a check, okay? Unless you have a reason why your camera is off, if you let me know, if there's a specific reason, please let one of the teachers know and your check will be taken away. But if it's just off because it's off, that is a check. Okay, I'm going to continue reading the next two paragraphs, and I want you to be picking out the anecdotes. Tornadoes usually form from large thunderstorms. When the winds beneath a storm are unstable, they blow at different speeds. These unstable winds underneath the thunderstorms can begin to rotate. If that rotating air gets pushed up into the storm, it can gain strength and speed. A dark cone of air may swirl down from the storm. This is called a funnel cloud. If the funnel touches the ground, it becomes a tornado. Tornadoes can form very quickly. They create the strongest winds on the planet with speeds that can top 200 miles per hour. In 1967, a powerful tornado struck Oak Lawn in Illinois. Patty Ernst lived through that tornado as a child. Our garage blew away. Our car was crushed, she remembered in an interview with Chicago television station WGN. Still, she knew it could have been much worse. A powerful twister can rip houses from their concrete foundations and flatten whole neighborhoods. My family was so lucky, Ernst said. Who can pick out an anecdote in what I just read? Ariana, go ahead. What is an anecdote in what I just read?
One example is when you read the third paragraph saying that this kid Patty, she lived through a tornado, and it felt like very horrible, and it expressed how she felt and what happened during that time. Her car got crushed and her garage got blew away.
Awesome. Ticket Ariana. Okay, so who can tell me why the author chose to put that in there? What does that help us think about? What does that help us understand about the informational text? Jason, why did the author put that in there?
The author put that there because it was trying to show like how dangerous and how like someone was able to show like how dangerous it was.
Awesome job. Ticket for Jason. Okay, so I'm going to read a little bit more, and I want you to keep thinking about anecdotes and the descriptive language that the author is using in this particular text, okay? The Oak Lawn tornado destroyed over 100 homes, and it killed dozens of people. But survivors of 2011's Joplin, Missouri tornado knew that tornadoes could be much worse. Rance Jung described the tornado to ABC News. "You couldn't see a funnel. It was so massive," he told reporters. The immense tornado measured almost a mile wide. It was a multiple vortex tornado with more than one funnel cloud reaching ground. That storm wrecked Joplin and left over 100 people dead. Why did the author include Rance Jung's description of the tornado and his story about the tornado? Amy, why did he include that in there?
I think he included that there because it describes the tornado and how it was, and there was multiple of tornadoes.
Awesome. Okay, awesome job. Ticket for Amy. So how did these anecdotes help us understand the author's point of view? Let's see. Amanat, how did these two anecdotes help us understand the author's point of view?
Those two anecdotes helps us support the author point of view because he's telling us reasons like how tornadoes, like he described tornadoes and he told us and he said that they're dangerous and he wants us to stay safe because all the like harm it can cause.
Awesome, great job, Ticket Amanat. Okay, so yeah, so the author includes those because it gives us a little bit more information. Remember that the author's point of view is that tornadoes are extremely dangerous, and he's teaching us how to protect ourselves from tornadoes. So he's including these to show us how dangerous tornadoes really are. So when I'm reading the next paragraph, I want you to think of what else the author is including to show us how dangerous tornadoes really are. Joshua Werman is an atmospheric scientist who studies tornadoes. For people to be safe from tornadoes, several things must happen, Werman explained in an interview with CNN. According to Werman, the key to saving lives is to understand how tornadoes start. He said it is also important to learn which thunderstorms will spawn tornadoes and which ones will not. But predicting tornadoes is still tricky. Werman is a leading tornado expert. He has spent decades studying the storms and even chasing them. Why do we think that the author included something from an expert in this text? Nisaya? Why do we think the author included a little excerpt from an expert in this text? Why would he include that?
I think he will include the expert because that he liked the picture. Yeah, I think he did that because to show a map of like where mostly the tornado will be.
Okay, so I understand. I think you're getting a little ahead of yourself. You're talking about the text feature. Let's go to Emanuela. Emanuela, I think, might have the answer. Why do you think the author included this excerpt from an expert?
Because in informational text, they experts have real information, so they add what the expert has to say about what the topic is about.
Awesome job, Ticket Emanuela. So yeah, so he included the expert because he has real information, and we need to know more detailed information when we're learning about any informational text. So that's why the author included it. So as I read the rest of it, I want you to be thinking about why the author is including the last part of this and how reading about this last paragraph helps us understand the author's point of view. It is important to know what to do when a tornado touches the ground. Tornadoes can uproot trees, lift cars, hurl smaller objects with fatal force. If a tornado hits, it is important to stay away from falling and flying debris. Some buildings and houses are equipped with safe rooms that are designed to withstand tornadoes. This is the safest place to be during a tornado. If a designated tornado shelter is not available, it is best to shelter in a room inside a sturdy building. Staying away from windows is a must. Airborne debris can smash through them, and flying jagged glass shards can be deadly. Ground floors are safer than being upstairs, and basement, oh, if you're not speaking, please mute yourself, because I hear some other things coming through. Staying away from windows is a must. Airborne debris can smash through them, and flying jagged glass shards can be deadly. Ground floors are safer than being upstairs, and basements provided even better protection. In the United States, most tornadoes strike in Tornado Alley. This area stretches from Texas north to the Dakotas. People who live in this area know how to prepare for the dangers of tornadoes. They know to look for warning signs, like a strange quietness just after a thunderstorm, changes in the sky color, or the ominous sight of a funnel cloud. Many people have tornado shelters built on their properties or under their homes. They know the quickest routes to the safest area in their houses, schools, and workplaces. Scientists will continue to get better at predicting tornadoes, but for now, being prepared for a tornado is the best way to stay safe. So why might the author want to end the text with the experience of those living in Tornado Alley? Daniele, go ahead.
They they did this for us to know how to stay safe during a tornado, so we wouldn't get hurt. I have a question.
Yes, what's your question? Hang on one second, because I hear someone that is not muted. So I'm going to go through real quick and just make sure. And while I'm going through, I am just, oh, Edgar, that was you. I saw you mute yourself real quick. Please don't have yourself unmuted when I'm speaking. I'm just going to go through and just check to make sure everyone is still meeting expectations real quick. Well, Daniele was answering a question, so it's okay that she's unmuted. Okay, I'm just checking to make sure everyone is paying attention. So, ticket for Safwan, he is ready to go. Ticket for Markel, he's paying attention. Ticket for Creflo, he is also paying attention.
My question.
Hold on one second. Okay, back to Daniele, who was answering our question. Go ahead, Daniele.
My question.
Yes, your question, I'm sorry.
What if you live on a very high building, and when there's a tornado, you have to go to the ground floor, but the ground floor has lots and lots of windows? What would you do then?
So a lot of people who live in these areas actually go to basements with no windows in them. So they all have some type of storm shelter. So I know you're probably thinking, like, New York has a ton of tall buildings, and even the bottom floor of the building still has windows. But these people who live in Tornado Alley are all prepared for tornadoes, so they already have storm shelters in place. So great question, Daniele. Daniele, back to the question though. Why do you think the author included to put information about Tornado Alley and the people that live in these areas?
He did that so we can see how many people know that tornadoes are coming in their area, or they live in a place that lots of tornadoes happen, so they need to start getting ready, or they already have like a place where they can stay during the tornado so they can stay safe.
Gotcha. Great job. Ticket Daniele. So he included Tornado Alley so we can understand that people need to take precaution to prepare for a tornado. So how does this help us understand the realities of tornadoes? So I just want you to think about these people, where they live and where we live in New York, and the difference. So why do you think the author included people who live in Tornado Alley, and how does that help us understand? Because we live in a different area. Who thinks they know the answer for this? Let's see. Nisaya, go ahead.
How does that help us understand because about the tornado and how we should get prepared about the tornado and stuff.
Oh, Nasaya, I can't really hear you. Can you get a little closer to your mic?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now perfectly.
So, how it compares to where we live is because they like giving us information of how like probably some construction workers could like build safe places for us to stay. So when like there's a tornado coming, we could go in like that place and be prepared. So we don't have to get killed by the tornado.
Awesome. Ticket Nasaya. So this is important because we live in New York. So New York, I don't think, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure New York doesn't have a lot of tornadoes. I don't think they had a tornado ever. So something that stands out in this text to me and got me thinking about my own personal experience is that I have never lived in an area where there has been a lot of tornadoes or any tornadoes at all. So by including text and content of information of people that live in this area and deal with this often helps us to better understand tornadoes, because that's not something that we deal with at all. So we can't possibly fully understand unless we hear information from someone who goes through this on a daily or monthly basis. So to close out this lesson, we have a short response prompt, and the question is, how does the author's use of descriptive language, anecdotes, and quotes from the expert help us understand the author's point of view? Pick at least 2 craft elements and cite evidence from the text to support your answer. So I am going to stop sharing real quick, and do we have breakout rooms ready?
We have the breakout rooms from close reading.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to have us all go in breakout rooms for the next 8 minutes. One thing though, I know a lot of people are struggling with formative. So it is informative. Let me send you all the link. If you do not have access to formative, you can feel free to just put it in, just write it in your packet. And just let the teacher in your breakout room know that you do not have access to formative. So I included the link right there. So please click on it right now if you do have access to formative. If not, you can work from your packet. And we can go into breakout rooms for the next 7 minutes.
Great. Ms. Rizzo, you're the host.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'll put us into breakout rooms.
Yesterday, I had the kids who couldn't get on formative write it to me in the chat, their response.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Ms. Cummings. That's an awesome idea. So if you do not have access to formative, just type in the chat your answer so you can send it to me. And please do that in every breakout room. So no matter what teacher you're with, please do that. And I am going to put us in breakout rooms for 7 minutes. Opening all rooms.
So some of you guys should be staying here with me in the main room.
Okay, scholars. So for those of you who have access to formative, please do it on formative. If not, please send it to me in the chat. Aishada, yeah, go ahead. You chatted me, Aishada. You can go.